Hello, dear story lovers. At the amount of 1,000 subscribers, I will post a huge series of special stories for you. Subscribe now. Jacob Vance had always prided himself on his ability to find the rare and the exotic in the farthest reaches of the galaxy. His reputation in the interstellar trade circuits was unmatched, and his ship, the Star Warden, was a floating testament to years of successful deals and daring adventures. Yet nothing in his colorful career had prepared him for the offer he received on Zoria Prime, a bustling marketplace known for its eclectic mix of traders, travelers, and treasure seekers. On this particular day, the air was thick with the aroma of spiced Zorian fruits and the metallic tang of freshly forged starship parts. Jacob navigated through the crowd, his eyes scanning for potential deals, when he was abruptly pulled aside into the shadowy recess of a weathered stall. The merchant, a Orcs with twitching antennae and a look of sheer desperation, was a minor acquaintance known for trading in second-hand ship components. "Jacob, my friend, please," the Orcs pleaded, his voice a mixture of urgency and fear. "I find myself in dire straits. My debts, they mount each day, and I fear the consequences of my inability to pay." Jacob, who had seen his fair share of desperation in the markets, remained cautious but intrigued. "What do you have in mind, Orcs? You know my interests are specific." "It's not what I have, but who?" Orcs whispered, glancing nervously around before pulling back a curtain of the stall to reveal a figure cloaked in a dusty, threadbare garment. The figure remained still, her face hidden beneath the hood. "I offer you my slave," Orcs continued, his antennae twitching more rapidly. "A yield to settle all I owe you." Jacob frowned, his stomach churning slightly. Slavery was a dark part of galactic commerce, abolished on Earth and many other civilized planets, yet it persisted in the shadows and lawless corners of the galaxy. He studied the cloaked figure, noting the slight tremor in her stance. "Why her? What's so special about this one that you'd settle your substantial debts with her alone?" Jacob asked, his curiosity piqued despite his initial revulsion. Orcs leaned closer, lowering his voice to a mere whisper. "She's not just any slave. She holds secrets, knowledge of a place of immense value. I've seen it in her eyes, heard it in her whispers." Skeptical yet unable to turn away from a potentially lucrative mystery, Jacob made a swift decision. "All right, I'll accept your offer, but not as a slave. I'll take her as a free individual. She can choose her own path once aboard my ship." Relief washed over Gorix's face, and he hurriedly agreed, eager to rid himself of his burden. As the deal was sealed, Jacob approached the figure and gently spoke. "You are with me now, but not as a slave. You're free. What's your name?" The figure slowly lifted her head, revealing piercing blue eyes that contrasted starkly with her pale, almost translucent skin. "Seraphine," she murmured, her voice carrying a melodic tone that hinted at a story far beyond the confines of Gorix's dingy stall. As they walked back to the Star Warden, Jacob sensed the weight of the decision he had just made. Little did he know, this choice would not only alter his path, but challenge his views of the galaxy's sprawling, intricate tapestry of cultures and conflicts. The journey he had unwittingly embarked upon would reveal the layers of a hidden universe he had never imagined. The Star Warden's engines hummed softly as it broke orbit from Zoria Prime, the lights of the marketplace dwindling into specks against the expansive backdrop of stars. Jacob led Seraphine to a small but comfortable room within the ship, where she could rest and acclimate to her newfound freedom. As the door slid shut behind them, he noticed how her eyes roamed, taking the surroundings with an acute sense of awareness. "Feel free to make yourself at home, Seraphine," Jacob offered, gesturing to the modest amenities. "You're free here, and if there's anything you need to make your stay more comfortable, just let me know." Seraphine's gaze settled on him, a mixture of cautious relief and underlying resolve clear in her expression. "Thank you, Jacob. Your kindness is unexpected." Jacob nodded, sitting across from her. "I didn't free you to keep secrets. If there's anything you can share about why Gorix valued you so highly, it might help me protect you better." After a moment of silence, Seraphine's posture relaxed slightly, and she began to speak in a low, earnest tone. "I am not merely a slave from the outer colonies, as Gorix might have suggested. I am Seraphine of Taller, a princess in exile." Jacob's eyes widened slightly, betraying his surprise. "A princess? That's quite a leap from what I was expecting. Why the secrecy? Taller is rich in resources but plagued by political strife, she continued, her voice growing firmer. After my family was betrayed and overthrown, I was hidden in plain sight to protect me from assassination. Gorks found me by chance, and I could not reveal my identity for fear of what he might do or who he might tell. Jacob processed the information, his mind racing with the implications. And the secrets he mentioned? What about this knowledge of immense value? Seraphine hesitated, then reached into the folds of her garment, pulling out a small, intricately designed device. This is a Taurian star map, she revealed, activating the device to project a holographic display of unknown star systems. It shows the way to hidden Taurian vaults filled with technology and treasures unknown to the rest of the galaxy. My royal lineage allows me to access them. The room filled with shimmering lights as the stars from a hologram flickered around them. Jacob, a seasoned trader, recognized the potential immediately. Not just the material worth, but the value of such alliances and knowledge. Then we must plan carefully, Jacob decided, his trader instincts kicking in alongside protective, almost brotherly feeling toward Seraphine. There are many who would kill for such information, and for you, a rightful heir, we need allies, and we need a plan to restore your family, if that's your wish. Seraphine nodded, a determined light shining in her eyes. It is. I want to reclaim my throne and bring peace to my people, but I cannot do it without help. Jacob stood, extending his hand to her. Then let's get you back on that throne, Princess Seraphine. We'll start by gathering a crew who can stand by us. As Seraphine placed her hand in his, the pact was made. Together, they would embark on a journey fraught with danger and intrigue, but also filled with the hope of restoration and justice. Little did Jacob know, this journey would not only lead them across the stars, but deep into the heart of galactic power struggles, and back to the very essence of what it meant to be a leader. As the Star Warden set its course through the cosmic lanes, Jacob and Seraphine spent the initial days planning their route and discussing potential allies. Jacob, with his extensive network from years of trading, knew exactly whom to approach, while Seraphine's insights into galactic politics provided a nuanced understanding of their motives and reliability. Their first stop was the asteroid belt of Vorin, where Jacob had an old associate, a skilled mechanic and former pirate known as Cakes. Cakes was notorious for his ability to obtain, fix, or fabricate nearly anything. His loyalty was hard to earn, but unshakable once given. Upon docking at Cakes' sprawling junkyard station, they were met with a gruff welcome. Jacob, to what do I owe the pleasure? And who's this? Cakes eyed Seraphine suspiciously. Jacob introduced her briefly as a partner in a high-stakes venture. Over a makeshift dinner of synthesized protein and asteroid-mined vegetables, Jacob and Seraphine laid out their plan, and Cakes' role in it. You're talking about taking on half the galaxy's thugs and thieves, not to mention a royal court full of cutthroats. Cakes barked with a laugh, though his eyes twinkled with interest. I'm in. It's been too quiet around here anyway. With Cakes on board, the next recruit was Zara, a tactician and former military commander known for her strategic acumen and unorthodox approaches. They found her on the war-torn planet of Kren, where she had been advising the local resistance against oppressive regimes. Zara listened to their proposal with an impassive face. After a long moment of silence, she nodded slowly. Restoring a rightful ruler and appending the current power structure could shift the balance in this sector. It's a worthy cause. I will join you. The crew grew, each member bringing unique skills and backgrounds. They included a Solarian pilot with the ability to navigate hazardous space, a duo of twin hackers from the neon slums of Neona, and a charming but deadly diplomatic liaison who could talk his way through any checkpoint. With his growing team, Jacob converted the cargo hold of the Star Warden into a war room, where they mapped out Seraphine's planet, identified key locations, and planned their strategy. The walls were lined with digital maps and charts, and the air was often thick with debate and discussion. Seraphine, meanwhile, grew into a role as a leader. She trained with Zara, learning military tactics and leadership, and spent hours with the twin hackers, understanding the intricacies of cybersecurity, which would be crucial in their forthcoming battles. Her transformation from a sheltered princess to a decisive leader was remarkable, earning her the crew's respect and loyalty. The plan was bold. They would first secure a hidden base on one of Talar's moons, using it as a staging point to gather more supporters and stage raids against the usurper's supply lines. Every step was risky, relying on stealth, cunning, and sheer audacity. As they approached Talar, the mood among the crew was a mix of nervous energy and determination. Seraphine addressed them all, standing confidently at the front of the war room. "What we are about to do is not just for me or for my throne," she said, her voice steady and clear. "It's for the people of Talar, who deserve a leader who will fight for them, protect them, and serve them. Thank you, all of you, for being part of this fight." Cheers filled the room, and as the meeting dispersed, Jacob caught Seraphine's eye. They shared a nod, no words needed. They were ready to take back a kingdom. As the Star Warden descended toward Talar, cloaked against detection, the stars seemed to align for their cause, setting the stage for a confrontation that would echo through the annals of the galaxy. The air was tense as the Star Warden entered Talar's orbit, cloaked and virtually invisible against the backdrop of the planet's vibrant blue seas and lush green continents. The moon base had already been established as their secret stronghold, and now the real work began. Under the cover of darkness, Jacob, Seraphine, and their diverse crew prepared for their most daring operation yet, the liberation of Talar. Seraphine's transformation into a confident leader was complete. Clad in armor that blended the royal insignia of Talar with the rugged functionality necessary for combat, she briefed her team on the final plan. Each member had a critical role, from infiltrating key government installations to swaying public opinion in favor of the rightful queen. The first move was a series of coordinated strikes against the usurper's communications networks, led by the twin hackers and supported by Zara's tactical team. These operations effectively blinded and confused the enemy, allowing Seraphine's message of hope and renewal to permeate through underground networks to the Taurian populace. Jacob, meanwhile, took on the role he knew best, negotiator. With the diplomatic liaison, he met secretly with influential figures still loyal to the Taurian royal family, amassing a quiet yet powerful coalition ready to support Seraphine's return. As the dawn of the decisive day broke, the streets of Talar's capital were filled with murmurs of rebellion and change. The people, who had suffered under the oppressive regime, were ready for the promise of a better ruler. Seraphine, at the heart of a carefully planned uprising, revealed herself to the citizens in a broadcast from their hidden base, her image projected over the city. "People of Talar," she began, her voice resonant and clear. "I am Seraphine, your rightful queen. I have returned to reclaim the throne from those who have betrayed our values and exploited our planet. I ask you to stand with me, not as subjects, but as partners in rebuilding our world." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Citizens flooded the streets in support, while Jacob and his team coordinated with local forces to take control of the royal palace. The final confrontation was less a battle and more reclaiming. The palace guards, realizing the tide had turned, chose to lay down their arms, pledging allegiance to Seraphine. Inside the grand throne room, Seraphine faced a usurper, a general who had once been a trusted advisor to her father. With the entire planet watching through a live feed, she spoke not of vengeance, but of justice and reconciliation. The usurper, seeing the unwavering support for Seraphine, surrendered and was taken into custody to be tried fairly for his crimes. The ceremony of Seraphine's coronation was a spectacle of joy and unity. Dignitaries from across the galaxy, including ambassadors from Earth, came to witness the historic moment. Jacob stood by her side, not just as a friend, but as a symbol of the unity between their worlds. In the days that followed, Seraphine worked tirelessly to establish a government that reflected her values of justice, transparency, and service to the people. Jacob, appointed as an advisor and ambassador, facilitated a series of treaties that would protect Talar from future threats and integrate it more deeply into the cooperative alliances of the galaxy. The journey from a slave in hiding to a queen restored her throne was a tale that echoed across the cosmos, inspiring other oppressed worlds to seek freedom and justice. Seraphine's rule was marked by peace, prosperity, and the flourishing of Taurian culture, celebrated not just on her planet, but throughout the stars. As the Star Warden departed Taller for new adventures, Jacob looked back at the thriving planet, a smile spreading across his face. The galaxy was vast, filled with endless stories, but he knew that the tale of Seraphine, the queen who came back from exile to reclaim her crown with the help of a diverse crew of outcasts and rebels, would be one he cherished forever.